So the first mindset, the one that seems maybe like it's helpful, and definitely like it's safer, but isn't necessarily helping you as much as you thought it was. And that's this. A scarcity mindset when it comes to your body. We're all likely aware of the term scarcity mindset, meaning like you don't think there's enough for everybody, you think you're going to run out. Activities that tend to come along with this are like guarding things like your business or your relationships, or really keeping people out because you're afraid that if they get some, there isn't enough for you as well. And this manifests in many places in our lives, and the vast majority of us, I would say, have fallen prey to that over the course of our lives. And I don't think that's a bad thing. That's why I said I don't think it's a bad thing if that's where you're at, because the reality is I think that's part of your growth process. When you go through that, it's like a tool to help you actually start changing the way you think and noticing different things about yourself. But that's a pretty common one, scarcity mindset. Here's how a scarcity mindset shows up in your body and in your life. Things like saying, whenever I get to X place on the journey, Y always breaks or falls apart or injures or whatever inside of me. Like I can only get so far before I get set back, and that's just the way it is. Catching yourself saying that, that's scarcity mindset. Not really believing that you actually can have whatever it is you want to have with your body. So like you could say it, but if you really like go in and like dig deep a little bit, there's like a part of you that's like, actually, I don't deserve to have that. I don't get to have that. It's actually outside of my reach, and I'm kind of silly for like thinking that I could go for it. And we're not even talking like Olympic level goals here. We're talking like have no knee pain, be 55 and not have low back pain like everybody else, be able to hike a mountain even though you've never walked or run a long distance step in your life, take up CrossFit if that's what you're into at whatever age you decide has been old and you still want to do it. These are all things that like we have goals and we want to do, but if you like dig in deep and you do catch yourself and you go, oh, actually there is a part of me that's like doesn't think we could have that. That's scarcity mindset with your body. Here's a really huge one. Huge, 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 huge. I get to work with people about this all the time and I love it. Believing that to get what you want to have, CrossFit, hiking, running, whatever your goal is, pain-free, that to get it, it has to be a struggle. How many of you like, that resonates with me big time. I thought it all had to be a struggle for a really long time. And I'm sure there's still moments when I like fall into that trap again, of course, because the journey's never over. That's a big one. Believing it has to be hard, believing it has to be a struggle, believing that if you do want to be a marathoner or hike a mountain or do CrossFit or whatever, that it has to come with discomfort and struggle and maybe suffering or injury, that's just part of the deal. And I'm here to tell you that is a load of crap. So we're going to get back to that in a second. Another one, this might resonate with you too. Accepting, this is how scarcity mindset shows up. Accepting that the current status of things is your permanent status of things. How many of you do that? Believing that like what you are today is what you are forever, and that's what you're doomed to be, whatever that is. I remember when I was much younger, I was still in my teens and maybe even early 20s, this was happening. I saw the adults around me and was like, oh, so that's what it is to be an adult. I remember I would see like the adult women in my life, you'd wear like nylons and a really hideous like dress suit for the office because women wore shoulder pads and skirts. It was like nothing I wanted anything to do with. And they cut their hair short and they weren't fast or fit or whatever. They didn't do like lots of activities. And this wasn't against them. It's just that was the model I saw. And I remember being like, hell no, I don't want anything to do with that. But at that time I didn't know what to do. I had no idea how to like choose something else. So I accepted for a number of years that was the status of my life too, that I'm going to cut my hair short and stop doing my activities and get pretty boring from what I could see as a kid. I'm sure they weren't boring. I'm sure they had cool things going on, but I didn't see it. And that neck and shoulder pain was the deal, and that fatigue was the deal, and that always feeling sore was just the deal. Like, what a terrible way to like live and have the life you want. But so many of us do that. We believe, whether it's by looking at people around us or whatever beliefs we've developed into our own mind out of our own creation, that what we're doing now and who we are now is who we are forever. When the reality is you are literally always changing. Literally nothing about you is permanent. All of it is regenerating, changing, morphing, shifting, like a river that never ends till the day you die. And who knows what happens after that? I don't know. But do you get what I'm saying? So those are some ways that scarcity mindset shows up. Thinking that things always break when you get to a certain point, not feeling like you actually deserve or should have the things that you desire, believing that it has to be a struggle, and then accepting that the current status of things is the permanent status of things. Okay, so take a look in your own life and see if any of those resonate with some aspect of what you believe about yourself. And here's the next part. If you find that, it's totally okay, because you're not stuck with that belief. You're not wrong for having believed that, because most of like marketing and media will have you believe that it's normal to be on prescription drugs, and it's normal to have aches and pains, and it's normal to just get old and have stuff break on you. And like I've said this before and I'll say it again, that's bullshit. Like for real life, we don't do that. We don't subscribe to that. We don't believe in that. And we routinely help folks see that like forever and ever till you're not on earth anymore, you get to do whatever you want, and you actually can make your body do whatever you want. And at the age of 70, you could be pain free. It's really possible. And at the age of 30, you can kick ass. And at the age of 90, you can be awesome. Like you can do all of these things, and age doesn't matter. Really, the only thing that matters is if you've decided that it matters. So if you've decided that it's normal to like fall apart, and that's what's going to happen to you, then that's normal. That's what's going to happen to you. Because what's happening in here is absolutely being mirrored to you back through your body and out into the world around you. Your world is actually your perceptions being reflected back to you. So give that some like time to marinate as we go on to the next part of the mindset talk today. Okay, so we've talked about one mindset that's really common. It's fed to you by consumerism and market, like mainstream media, and kind of the world around us at large for a long time has believed it. Now let's get on to the one that's actually awesome and actually helpful. And that's an abundance mindset about your body. So an abundance mindset, when we talk about that with like, you'll often hear it in like finance or, personal growth or whatever, that like believing that everything is always like creating more. There's enough for everybody. You'll always be taken care of. You put work in, you'll always get all that work out and then some. Like if you aren't into the like personal growth stuff, just stay with me for a second when we get to the body part. But I'm telling you, like, that's actually really true. Like you are creating your own reality. And so you absolutely do create abundance in your life if you're creating a life that creates abundance. Like it's this like weird meta kind of thing, but it's actually really true. So anyways, abundance mindset with your body. Abundance mindset with your body is believing and knowing at your core that your cells are always regenerating, always in your body. So you always get a chance to teach them something new. You always get a chance to remodel them. You always get the chance to adapt them to some new signal and response. If you're a reader of the Movement Manifesto, you know that is a major theme of the book, that signal response is everything. And you are in the driver's seat of that signal response itself. So somebody who has an abundance mindset about their body, truly, to their core, believes that their tissues are always regenerating. And if that's not something you can believe quite yet, because maybe you've been in pain for a really long time, or it's kind of just been your MO for most of your life to get injuries, think about when you cut your skin. So I like destroyed my fingertips this past week climbing just because I haven't bouldered hard in a long time because I was traveling for work. And then I'm trying to get ready because I have a competition next weekend. And I just want to like be strong and fit and like feel great and whatever. And like all the skin came off my fingers. And I was like, well, that's disgusting. But the skin's already healing. It's already healing. I mean, it's mostly healed. It was disgusting a couple of days ago. It's mostly healed. Your skin does that all the time. You cut yourself, you watch the scab form, you watch the skin regenerate, you watch the scar form, then the scar disappears over the course of a year, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. There it is. There's your proof. Your cells are always regenerating. Start realizing that that is a part of your body inside and out, including in here in the neurons in your brain. So like if this all feels like whatever, that's a load of crap, that's nice for you to say, Kate, because like it's been easy for you and whatever, my life's been harder, fair. You may be coming from a life that's harder in whatever you decide that like meaning is to you than whatever you see my life as like. However, like what fires together wires together. So maybe today is like the very first day that you start rewiring the neural networks in your brain that say life's always hard versus life's always easy. And I always get the health and strength and pain-free movement in my body that I want, or I don't. Maybe today. Maybe today is the day you start actually regenerating those cells. Okay, so also in an abundance mindset, really believing, and this one may take a while, at least it did for me, really believing that it does not have to be a struggle, and in fact, it's never a struggle to get what you want. Never. That, like, it's still just, whoo, it still, like, gives me chills. It washes over me quite a bit. But there's the difference between doing work, creating tension, struggling, and like pain, right? So like there are all these like little shades of gray in between doing nothing and doing all the things, okay? Most of us suck at understanding what that gray area is. Most of us have a hard time, at least in the beginning, going, yeah, this is work and this is appropriate, this is enough. For those of you who read You're Standing in Your Own Way, that recent post I did on Fit for Real Life, You're Standing in Your Own Way. Can't recommend it enough in terms of helpfulness for seeing your own stuff that's in your way. There's a whole bunch of shades of gray. So learning how to do work and know that it's enough, and learning when to pull back, even though you want to do more, but because you can tell, like, you don't have the bandwidth to put more out today. And that if you're doing that, you're actually in the flow. You're not struggling at all. You're doing exactly what your body needs and giving it exactly what it's needing, and your body will respond accordingly. And like knowing that, which is scary at first, because when I used to be like, I ran a whole bunch. I was a middle distance runner. I did like one marathon, a bunch of half marathons. Middle distance runner, urban obstacle courses, like all that stuff, and strength training, yada, 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 nutrition, dieting, the whole thing. I really believed I had to get all those workouts in if I wanted to maintain my body a certain way, to look, feel, and perform the way I wanted it to do that. And I held tight to that, like tight. And in reality, that actually was keeping me from the ease in maintaining my body the way I want to maintain it. It actually was making it harder for me. So as you go through and like think about this and you think, okay, food for thought, ask yourself, like, do I really believe it has to be a struggle, or can I open myself to the idea that it's never a struggle and that it's actually like a really pleasurable experience to get all the things I want, even when I'm learning new skills, even when I'm being challenged by my coach with drills that I know I can't do. That's all my coaching clients right now who are like, that's me. Ask yourself if it has to be a struggle, and then where could you start unraveling the struggle? That's part 2 of an abundance mindset. Also, I love this one because it's tough. Not really, but it's like, it's a shift. An abundance mindset about your body includes accepting that the stuff, tension, aches, maybe like a change in how something works in your body is just stuff that shows up, and there doesn't need to be a story about it. So I was hanging out with my good friend Nikki last night and working on some of her movement stuff and kind of answering some of her questions. And she like asked a question about some part of her body that had like an ache in it, and without going into all the details. And I was like, well, it just is. Like, your body is allowed to process things. And to process things, sometimes that means it generates heat in an area. Sometimes that means it generates swelling. Sometimes that means it makes you feel like you have an ache in that area. Sometimes it makes you feel like your range of motion is less. Your body is allowed to do that. Give it the window to do that. Like, you don't live in this vacuum where you have to feel perfect all the time. And I can say that because it's a lesson I always have to hear myself. As soon as I know, and I'm like, I feel super perceptive to like things shifting in my body. As soon as I notice a tiny little niggle of something different, or a tiny little feeling like something feels tenser than it did yesterday, my initial reaction in the past was to be like, what have I done? Oh my God, I have to fix something. I have to address this. And it like would consume my mind to like start fixing whatever's wrong. When in the reality, again, we're always a river, we're always flowing. You guys, shit changes all the time in your body. Like, stuff changes. There doesn't have to be a story with it, because my good friend Dr. Seth Oberst and I did a workshop webinar together several months ago at this point. It is on Fit for Real Life as well. We had a great dialogue about, the whole recording is up there, about how like your pain doesn't have to be your story, and how making it your story actually creates a barrier between you and change in your body, and so actually healing and changing the way your body feels, moves, and performs. So I'd encourage you today to just go with a noticing awareness of your body, and see when you start to dive into creating a story about why something is the way it is. Your back's a little sore today. Does there need to be a story about that? Do you need to know, like, in the bigger picture, like, oh, my back hurts, shoot, I messed something up? Or if you're one of these people who's like, oh, my anterior fibers of my psoas are overfiring, and my posterior distal fibers of my hamstring are underfiring, and like there's these like crazy technical reasons for why you are the way you are. You don't have to have that. See if you can acknowledge that today. When folks come in and work with me, and they'll give me this whole rundown of stuff, and they're like, why does that happen? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. There's like a million things. Doesn't matter. Like, we can explore, we can like investigate. It'd be fun to go like finding the root cause of something, but if you never find the root cause of why you feel the way you feel, doesn't matter if you can still heal your body. I say it doesn't. Like, if you can still heal, who cares? Like, why that was happening? It's good lessons, it's good education, but if you never actually get to the root of why something does what it does in your body, why an area of your body feels hotter today, why your ankle feels stiffer today, like, think of the headspace you have available to do other things if you aren't spending time thinking about why your body's doing what it's doing. And think about how much more in tune and connected to your body you can be when you are not first going through the filter of a story about why your body is doing what it's doing before you can get to your activity with your body to help it be something different or better or changed or whatever you're going for. So I'd encourage you to think about that when it comes to your abundance mindset with your body. And I will say all of these things, ask yourself, like, do you have some of them down pat and other ones you still need to work on? Most likely, we all do, right? Or you're starting at the very beginning, you're like, oh God, I've never even thought about any of this before. Totally fine. That's where you're on the journey as well too. Like, that's the way this whole thing works. You get to go and learn and experience, and whether it's learning from somebody else's learning, like from me, or from your own experience, it's all good lessons. It's all good education. So, as we round out this kind of thought that I was having today about the scarcity and the abundance mindset, I'll ask you, where do you think you're at? Do you think you have a scarcity mindset about your body, or do you think you have an abundance mindset? Truly, deeply, like passionately know it to be true about your body. Is it an area that you could actually work to improve the way your body feels, moves, and performs simply by adjusting things that you're thinking about in here? Like, this thing is a garden. It needs constant tending, right? Like, you can get some truths and know them, and you're like, yep, I got it, and you won't forget that again. But also, life keeps happening. The river keeps flowing. You keep changing. We have lessons to keep learning. And so, when it comes to feeling good and moving well, I want you to get there. Like, I want you to have that. It's going to be tougher if you don't address some of the stuff that's happening up in here. And I will tell you, one of the best shifts you can make for your brain and your body, which are one and the same, FYI, one of the best things that you can make for your mind and your body is to start adopting an abundance mindset. And really, from core to like most superficial skin tissue, knowing that you are meant to feel good, move well, and perform at your most optimum potential that you could possibly tap into, unless you decide that you're not. The ball's in your court, gang.